Beelstarmon here is one hell of a thick lady, but she's also one hell of a deck. Let's talk about it today. Hope everyone is doing good today. I'm going to go over my Beelstar deck for the BT6 format. I've been testing this deck just as long as I've been testing my Gobblebond deck. It's almost undefeated. It only loses when it bricks. This deck is insane, and it can combat starter deck cards going forward into the coming weeks. Just Mono starter decks, no problem. Gobblebond starter decks, no problem. Security control, actually no problem, surprisingly. That's good. Rookie Rush, easy. So this deck has what it takes to win tournaments, I believe. And I'm going to go over my card choices, tech choices, little weird things here and there, why I'm doing certain things and not doing certain things. And you guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and turn the notification bell and smash potatoes. That way you know when all these amazing Digimon videos come out. And then follow me, of course, on Twitch so you can see this stuff live. And join my Discord. Links are in the description below for both. Let's get going. So we always start with our babies, right? We're doing 4 Demi-Marimon here on deletion, draw 1, trash 1 from your hand, really good. And recently I'm playing the 5th egg, Sunomon. Once per turn, when you trash a card in your hand, use one of your effects, draw a card. Demi-Marimon is infinitely better in this kind of deck because of the constant cycling it gives you. However, this does come up in certain applications, which we'll talk about as we get there. Not as often as Demi-Mara, if you ask me, which is why it's the 5th egg, but it is coming up, and it does help you deck thin a little bit, so that's really important. But yeah, 5 babies, real good. Rookies. We're starting off with 4 of the new BT6 Impmon here. Now, this is the one rookie that you don't actually want to evolve if you can help it, because as an on-play effect, trash a card in your hand, then add a Digimon card with 7 Great Demon Lords or 3 Musketeers as type from your trash to your hand. We do have some eligible targets for that, which we will talk about later, which is why this card is actually amazing. You want to try to avoid evolving it, because evolving it just feels really freaking bad. But yeah, 4 of it because this card's insane at recurring certain cards, which we'll talk about in a bit. We play 4 of the original Impmon on deletion Mill 3, really good. And we're playing 4 of this card, Soundbirdmon. When attacking, trash an option card in your hand to gain 1 memory. You want your options in your discard pile, which for reasons we'll talk about again very soon. And gaining memory and attacking is really cool. This deck has a security control-esque feel to it, where choking doesn't happen as often as maybe it should, and that's perfectly okay. But having that 1 extra memory back does help you not give your opponent a ridiculous amount of memory sometimes. And it can help as a choke point, as well as getting your options in grave. And again, if you have the Sunomon egg, one of those applications where it comes in handy, it's good with all your rookies except the original Impmon. So that's pretty poggers. Now, you guys might be wondering, where are the Gazimons? Where's this card? Where's Memory Denial? We're actually not playing it right now. However, with Memory Boosts on the horizon, this is probably going to go in the deck. That being said, though, again, this is like a security control deck where you're just playing with large swings of memory at a time usually, until the end game actually. So, does Gazimon denying memory boosts and other memory effects really matter in this deck? Well, in my testing it doesn't. And I have been testing this deck against decks with memory boosts, post-starter decks, and it's not actually a big deal. Gazimon, there are a couple moments from yeah, Gazimon would be really clutch right now. But in those decks, they can just easily pop Gazimon anyway. Frickin' Bowhuck Inheritable pops Gazimon, Gumabond just clears it, Obgubond clears it, Security Control, no problem. So many decks can just get rid of this card. It's actually kind of insane. So, it's not super necessary, but if you want to try it out, I do definitely recommend giving it a try and see if you like it. But besides that, we're just playing 12 rookies, and that's kind of fine for this deck. Sometimes you don't draw one, sometimes it feels bad, but honestly, you need your deck space for other things. It is really tight. So we'll go on to champions next. We're going to start with a champion in this deck that's not actually purple. It is a black champion. It is Deputymon. We play 4 of it. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. You add a Digimon card with 3 Musketeers in its type, and or 1 option card with memory cost 7 to your hand, trash the remaining cards. Then on your turn, this can evolve into a 3 Musketeers card with a memory cost of 6, which does come up, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But Deputymon is here for the hard play, basically mill a bunch of cards, and hopefully get to add a Three Musketeers monster to your hand. And that's why it's there. Sometimes you just miss with this card completely, but sometimes you load your graveyard with a few really good cards, options, and creatures. So this is honestly quite a good card. You do gotta play 4 of it. Next, we're playing 2 Genkaku Promote. This is your purple Rush dude. When it comes into play, it as Rush. We're able to recur it multiple ways in this deck. We're not playing any of the other Genkakus or Kinkakus or whatever the fuck they're called, but we are just playing 2 of it because you can bring it back. You can have OTK turns, which we'll talk about, and Genkaku Promote is just really good at killing your opponent and finishing the game. So we play 2 of it. The other champions we play in this deck, honestly, we're playing 3 blockers. 2 Vilemon and a Devimon. Blockers aren't great right now in this format. They get popped really easily. So we're not playing that many of it. Besides, once you've milled 1, you can kind of just keep bringing it back over and over again if you want to. So the 3 blockers are honestly okay. And to be real, you're not usually evolving on your rookies anyway. Like your Soundbird, you need to discard options attacking. It's probably dead because it's 1,000. Your Impmon here, you want to die because it mills 3. The only rookie you really evolve on top of is this one. So, like, it doesn't even come up that often where you evolve on top of rookies in this deck. So we don't need a lot of purple champions. Having the few blockers is fine. But honestly, I'm thinking about cutting these for other things. But they do come in clutch, and having the ability to mill 1, you know, semi-regularly enough, early enough, does come in handy. So yeah, that's all our champions. This lineup, though, is fine right now as far as I'm concerned. Now for the big boss lady herself, Beelstarmon. This has an on-play cost of 12. It's 11,000 DP. You'll never evolve it. This card reads, when playing this card from your hand, reduce its play cost by 1 for each 3 Musketeers Digimon card and option card with a memory cost of 7 in your trash. So as you get later in the game, this card is literally free. So that's really freaking cool. Also, it does count itself because it is 3 Musketeers, so as long as you have other copies in this card, they help go to that. So that's really freaking good. Then when you play it, you return an option card with a memory cost of 7 from your trash to your hand, then use an option card with a memory cost of 7 in your hand without paying its memory cost. So you basically get to a point in the game where you play this for free, or almost free, and you just bring back any of your options and play it. We'll talk about what those options are in a moment, but this is the main card of the deck, and you want to recur it as much as possible, which is why we have these Impmons. You want to Beelstar as many times as possible per game. And the whole game is about getting to the long game so that you can just do Beelstarmon. This deck acts as like a pseudo Lightsworn Shaddoll deck, for those of you that know Yu-Gi-Oh! Because you want to mill your stuff in order to go big. So Beelstarmon is insane, it's the heart of your deck, and the more you can resolve this card, the greater chance you have of winning. The level 6 we play are 4 Gundramons. 4 Gundramon here because it is a 3 Musketeer card, and it's actually really good. So you might notice there's no ultimates in your deck. You're right. However, we can evolve the Gundramon on top of the Deputymon, this card here. We can evolve onto this for 6 instead of 4. That's honestly fine though, because this Digivolving effect is bonkers, and by the way, is a blocker. So that's cool. So when Digivolving, real top 5 cards of your deck, you may use one option card with memory cost of 7 among them without paying its cost. You trash the remaining cards, and if you don't use an option card, you delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less. So this card is usually always deleting something, and then it's a blocker on the field. So for a cost of 6 on Deputymon, this card is 100% worth it. And that's it for our Megas here. 8 of them. Beelstar is obviously way better, but this card does put in work, and it does mill, which is important for Beelstarmon. So early game, you'll find that you need to do Gundramon plays, and then late game, you just destroy them with Beelstar. So yeah, good Megas. Level 7s here. We're playing 2 Omnimon Zwart, the original one, you know. When Digivolving, trash 3 cards, bring back 2 blacks and purples with play costs of 8 or less. So you can bring back things like Deputymon, trigger its effect. You can bring things back like Impmon and trigger its effect to get a Beelstar back. That's insane. You can bring back a Promote, a Genkaku Promote, and if your turn isn't over for some reason, you can attack with it. That's really good. And you bring back blockers if you want. So like Omnimon Zwart, lots of good targets for it, and of course it can pop something on suspended 12 play cost or less once by attacking and return level 6 underneath it, which is really good because you might have a turn where you play a Beelstarmon, it doesn't pass your turn over, and then you evolve onto the Zwart, and then next turn, or even that turn if you're lucky, you attack, return Beelstar to your hand, and do it again. So Zwart's actually insane in this deck. 2 is the right number. I think any more kind of clogs you up. So yeah, 2 is fine. We're also playing 2 Omnimon Zwart Defeat. If it hits in security, that's really cool because it plays itself, and then on deletion, it trashes an opponent's Digimon. But when evolving, you delete a Tamer. Now, this card is broken against Gobblebond and Agubond because you delete their mat or their tie, and then they can't Gobblebond you, which is insane. And I almost want to play more copies of this card for that reason. But, you know, besides that, it's only really applicable in those matchups. And evolving on top of your Beelstar and Deputy for this, if it's not one of those matchups, is sometimes good. It is good. It will delete a Tamer. It will be worth it, and will draw your cards. But it does feel really good against Gobblebond and Agubond. So yeah, I think 2 of this is fine. But if you want to play more, I don't really blame you. The final level 7, we're playing 1 Millenniumon. Just 1. This is your guy. When Digivolving, you return one of your opponent's Digimon to the bottom of the deck. And then when this is deleted and has sources, it comes back without sources 1 time. So, if security control starts really popping off, I'm going to be playing more of this card. Because this card, it forces a removal spell and it comes back. So effectively the opponent needs 2 sources, 2 cards to get rid of Millenniumon, which is very good value. And then on top of that, you're also bouncing back their Magna Andromons and whatever else they're playing at the bottom of the deck. Like, it's really good. If you hit a Zwart Defeat in security and a pop comes out, you Millennium on top of a Beelstar or Deputy or something, put it in the bottom of the deck. Like, that's insane. It gets rid of this card in the best way possible. So, there's definitely going to be an argument down the road for playing more Millenniumon, and I think we're almost there. But for now, 1 is fine. Don't be surprised, though, if you think this card is really good and want to play more of it. Options. Alright, we play a lot of them. We play 4 Fly Bullet, the new one from BT6. It deletes an opponent's level 6 or lower Digimon. Activates in security, which is good. Now, this card, along with a couple others we'll talk about, they don't have a color requirement if you control a Three Musketeers card. Which means if you do have Gundramon on the field, or I guess this, but it's purple, so it doesn't matter, you can activate Fly Bullet, regardless of the fact that this is black, and you have no other purple cards on field. So actually really cool application they have. You can play them for free. But yeah, Fly Bullet, really good. Now, something that people aren't doing for Trump Sword. Trump Sword is really good against Gobblebond and Agubond and friggin' like Omnimons and stuff like that. A Gobblebond turn won't lose to a Fly Bullet or like anything else, but it will lose to a Trump Sword, so that's very important. And sometimes it's good to hard play a Trump Sword and kill things. Kill blockers, attack for game. Which you can do with Fly Bullet too. But I like having 8 cards like this that just activate and secure to delete an opponent's big thing. So yeah, 4 Trump Sword, super valuable, I love it, I would not play less. Next we're playing 3 Nailbone. Nailbone, if you play it, you bring back a level 3 purple and a level 4 purple from your trash. If it activates in security, you bring back a level 4 lower purple from your trash. Now the on-plays don't trigger, which is fine, but something that you can really do is play a Beelstar for free, bring back Ngaku Promote, and swing. And if you have multiple, you know, like Beelstarmons, you can do this over and over again. And the real reason you play 2 Ngaku Promotes is because sometimes you'll have a Beelstar Nailbone multiple play like that, and you'll bring back a Promote, and you'll swing at security. As long as it dies, you can always bring it back with another Beelstar Nailbone play. But if it doesn't die, if it actually survives the check, then it kind of ruins your OTK play. But if you have a second one in trash, you get another shot at it, which is really freaking good. So yeah, 3 Nailbone is actually like super clutch in this deck. It comes up more than you think it does. I would consider cutting it to 2, but 3 is really good. You want to see this card. It is your big game closer with Beelstar. As opposed to everything else that lets you control your opponent, this actually lets you go for game. So that's really good. Well, now the final options, we're playing 2 Happy Bullet Showering. It has the Musketeer Claws, which is good because it's red, so it can play for free if you have Beelstar or Gundramon. What this card does, it deletes all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP, and it activates in security. So if they're only swinging with Gobblebond or something, this is a great way to actually also out the Gobblebond match. It's really bad against Dressmon, because Dressmon will attack, they'll bring back a Sistermon. You flip this in security, it kills the Sistermon, which feels really bad. But besides that, This card is really good, and it does kill multiple things sometimes, so that's pretty good. Our last two options are two Gewaltstormers. It has the Three Musketeer clause to play without color, which is cool, and it deletes all Digimon off field with play cost 7 or less, including your own, so be careful with that. But unlike the other cards, this one just goes to your hand. Now, this one is a broken option. It is really strong, and you want to see it as often as you can, because as soon as you see one copy, you see it all, and just being able to board wipe a low board does come in handy. So this card is great as a 2 of. This does make our option count 15, which might seem a little bit high, but I want this to, at best, see its options, and at worst, be like a security control deck in security. So it is good at that. This deck does do that very well. 15 options is no joke. But that's it for the options. Our final card is one Matt Shada here. Just Memory Tamer, go to 3. It doesn't come up really that often, the Memory, because you're just doing big plays anyway, usually, so it's not a big deal. But having the Memory Tamer sometimes is cool, and it does bring back a purple card when you play it. So bringing back Beelstarmon is kind of insane. That's it for the deck. That's all I got, guys. That's the Beelstar deck profile. I love playing this deck. It is so fun. And it does require a little bit of skill. There's a little RNG involvement as well, because it is a milling deck, kind of like a Shaddoll or Lightsworn deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! But besides that, I think the deck is super fun and super rewarding if you do play it right, because you can just tear apart literally anything. And it's really cool. So let me know what you guys think about the deck list in the comment section below. Do you play similar to this? Do you try something else? Let me know. And I'll see you later. Bye.